Welcome to the first of many podcasts on vintage skateboards and coffee and more. I'm here with Jason.
Hi everyone, how are you?
Those of you who are tuning in, you've obviously seen the thumbnail. It's Vintage Skateboards and Coffee. We're going to be covering a lot, including a lot of collectibles. Jason's a collector. He's got the most amazing array of collections, as you probably can see already. But what we've been doing is a sort of a monthly or twice a month podcast talking about collectible, obviously vintage skateboards initially, and we'll talk about coffee and we'll talk about a few things. Jason, talk to us about your passion and how you got into collecting these kind of stuff.
Yeah. Hi everyone. Look, I've been collecting for years. It's actually just coming up to 35 years. Everyone's been sort of contacting me and telling me, hey, you've got to share this. You've got to share what you have and just show what you've collected over the years. So here we are. First in 1990.
Here we are. And obviously myself, I've actually got a YouTube channel, Electric Skateboard Reviews. I've been doing this for a long time, 8 years. But I got into vintage skateboarding, collecting, and I've got a great array of boards to talk to you about. But also I've got a passion, like Jason, for the unusual things to collect. So you're going to sit back and have a great podcast over the next coming months of the series of podcasts. We'll have interviews and special people on to have a chat about these things. We'll also do valuations on your vintage skateboard. So sit back and enjoy what's going to be a very exciting time. If you haven't considered subscribing, hit that notification bell, subscribe, because these will come a little bit infrequent but regular. So that's what we're going to look at. So today we're going to talk about Jason's very unique collection of stuff that I've never seen before until today. What do you got there? What do you got there to show us?
Well, look, no one's really seen it before, but look, I've sort of collected over the years, and look, you can even see what's behind us here. And look, I can tell you right now, my phone's just lighting up. There's actually quite a few people just reaching out saying, what's that behind? Well, I think you all know what's behind us. There's something quite unusual. There's from a very famous movie of Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, something with 60 seconds in it.
Yeah, gone in 60 seconds. But look, let's leave that for now. And,
I'll tell you now, you've got to tune in for the next episode. Well, the next episode is going to be probably the history of skateboarding, how it first evolved and what happened. And I'll take you through the detailed start of what skateboarding really in its infancy and its invent, as so to speak. But also we'll lead into these cars. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff. Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, no,
what do you got? What do you got here, my man?
Oh, look, yeah, it's got some interesting stuff here. And look, I collect things that are very unusual and things that sort of come along. When they come along, you just don't see them, and they never appear for years. So
that's true. You got to, with collecting, you got to be Johnny on the spot. You got to find out what you want, see it, and then go for it. If you're going through auctions on eBay, we'll give you tips how to do to get those auctions, to win those auctions, because there's a lot of tricks. If you don't do it properly, you lose out. I've lost out on a couple of really great boards, but yeah, there's a few hacks and sort of like dealer hacks and collector hacks we'll show you.
Yeah, and look, we're really enjoying collecting vintage skateboards. They're just, the history of skateboarding out of California is just incredible, and we're excited to share all that history with you.
You went to the Hall of Fame, the Hall of the Californian Skateboard of Fame?
Yeah, I actually only about 6 months ago met the owner there. He showed me through the Todd. Yeah. Amazing guy, got a world of history. And he just knows all the famous skateboards. He's
got a great collection. He's got one of the world's best collections of vintage and, well, all skateboards really, pretty much.
No one even comes close. So it's exciting. So look, what we have here today is we're not going to go into it too much. Just want to show you a few things. And look, we're going to go when we go into the episodes. We're actually going to dive a little bit deeper into these things. But look, there's some unusual stuff here.
I must say, I'm really impressed.
You're also a Red Bull ambassador as well, aren't you?
Well, yeah, exactly right. I've got amazing support from RB. So basically, we're just trying to create a more interesting competitive environment, and as well as interest in vintage skateboard collecting. And Australia wasn't too far behind, being the surfing culture we had. We had literally the Surfa Sams and the Banes came through here as well as a lot of local boards. Nat Young boards, obviously world champion, and Midget Farrelly. So we were on the world circuit with those skateboarding, not far behind the States. Yeah, so we were pretty influential in world skateboarding.
Yeah. So look, as we go into the different segments, we're actually going to dive deeper into the different types of skateboards, the different wheels, and how they're made, where they're made. It's going to be quite exciting.
It is.
We're going to do a whole segment on the cars that you see behind us.
There's some pretty exciting stuff behind. To mention where we're going, we don't need roads.
That's it. So,
Yeah, something like. We'll go into those in more detail. There's a lot of stuff to come, a lot of intricate collecting items here, and we'll be, as I said, evaluating and looking at stuff and giving you guys an idea. What have you got today? For the first podcast, we're not going to get into skateboarding yet. We're going to do some just left field stuff today to get you in and show you what Jason's got.
Yeah, look, just going to touch on a few things today. Look, these things I'm going to show you now, they just don't come available. You're talking, I've got these in the 90s, early 2000. We're hitting 2025. It's just, you just won't find this sort of stuff. And look, we want to share this with you, and we're going to dive deeper into these in some other segments. But we've got...
So what is this?
Hang
on, you can't be serious.
So this is Bruce Lee, 1963. This is his
1963.
This is his handbook. There's only about 6 in existence in the world.
Wow.
Signed by Bruce Lee, and I haven't seen another one in circulation. They're out there, but they're very, very secure in some people's collections.
Wow. Have a look. Yeah, this is it's funny with collecting. It's all about being at the right place, right time, and also having a passion to jump when your whole body says, "Why pay that? Don't do it. You're crazy." But often after you bought it, you then go to yourself, "Well, I'm so lucky I got it, because I wouldn't have normally done that." That is an incredible piece. So that's Bruce Lee is actual self-defense. It's amazing sight.
Right.
Incredible.
So we'll go more into Bruce Lee in another segment. This one's interesting. From the Seinfeld actual show. This is the first script from 1989.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah.
Is that the kind of look? Is that the script? That's
that's the
actually.
script.
I haven't seen this till today. I've just come to meet Jason to do this first. I have not seen this. Oh my God!
Look, I have to keep it in the plastic. It's so rare and
Written
unusual.
by Larry David and Jerry Seinfeld.
I think it's dated March
1989.
1989.
1989.
Yeah.
How did you get this?
Oh, look.
We'll do a close up of this so you can just see that on the screen.
Yeah. I was contacted through someone that knows me and knows that I collect some really unusual stuff, and said he had this and would I be interested. So, I mean, a lot of the collectibles trade-off market.
That's the pilot episode?
This is the pilot. It talks about Kramer coming in. It talks about George.
It's a show about nothing. They go to CBS and they sort of go, or NBC, one of them, they say, look, this is a show about nothing. It's nothing.
This says the first draft, March 24th, 1989.
Wow.
So, look, we're going to dive more into this. We're going to open this up. We're going to actually do a bit of a script from this.
And we'll do some screenshots of it all when we do it. That's quite incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
Look, number plates. Number plates are quite unusual. Some people collect numbers, as I'm into classic cars. These are actually the California plates that go on a 356 Porsche. So,
oh, wow.
As you can see, they were last on a 356 Porsche in 2011. These are actually what they call park up, which means I own these and they're virtually on storage. And at any point in time, they can go on to a 356 Porsche in California.
Wow. These are real big.
As you can see.
Yeah, these are nearly 20, coming up to 20 years old.
Yeah, they've got the palm trees on them. They've got the sunset.
In
and
beautiful
the beach
condition.
in the background. A very Santa Monica
iconic,
sort of look.
very iconic for California.
And tell me, they look great. They look great on an old
They do.
356 cruising down the freeway. Any classic car, but of course, they belong to a 356 Porsche. So
Wow, that's crazy.
Keep these in storage. Look, there's something else I got. It's actually quite interesting. Steve McQueen, as you can know,
God, I love Steve McQueen.
He's become just incredible how there's just a
he's
following.
made. Do you know Steve McQueen has made more money since he's been dead than when he was alive. Now you remember he did the great movies like the Great Escape and Papillon, plus he then went and did and The Magnificent Seven, one of the greatest Hollywood actors. He was in Le Mans. I've got a few beautiful watches, like the Monaco, which pays homage to him. And he was, at the end of his career, one of the highest paid Hollywood actors in the world. When he did the fireman of the Towering Inferno with Fred Astaire, that classic movie, Irwin Allen's big production, one of the first big disaster movies. He was paid more than any other actor in Hollywood even today for that small role as a fireman that didn't even go up to the tower. So Steve McQueen is a legend, and he is absolutely the iconic branding name of obviously Tag Heuer, Monaco, and the whole series. And what do you got? What do you got?
Look, I was in Beverly Hills, and I was looking at some collectible stuff. And look, because I was from Australia, the guy said, look, he opened up a room and he just showed me a whole lot of memorabilia. Wow. He let me actually get off him these actual original negatives.
No way. By the way, I haven't seen any of this. We just met today.
Well, no one's seen it. No, Andrew, because everyone's been harassing me to just open all this up, I said, this is the first time.
Oh, my God.
So we've actually got some original negatives of Steve
Holy
McQueen.
It's like looking at X-ray at a doctor's surgery, but it's an X-ray of a faint.
So these are really
wow,
really unique because I can actually print these to a very large poster size.
Because it's perfect. Perfect, yeah.
So limited edition prints. And we can talk to you more about that later, but we are, you know, I've been asked to do some limited edition prints, and we're going to do that with these. These are no one's ever seen these.
This is incredible.
Yeah.
You know, Steve McQueen tragically died from cancer from mesothelioma, which my dad actually passed away from, which was from his many years, they say, when he was a merchant seaman or in the Navy for the Second World War. The pipes were lagged with that kind of fibre, as well as a racing car driver. His helmet was completely encrusted, in those days, carbon fibre for fire protection.
Yes.
They breathed it in, and he died tragically, I think, 52 in Mexico, doing some radical surgery. But once you get mesothelioma, it pretty much is, it's all over. It's a terrible disease. So thoughts go out to anyone who has had that happen in the family, like myself and my dad. But yeah, amazing actor. What a legacy he left, eh? What a legacy. But that's an incredible piece of memorabilia. That is, you won't get many of those. I don't think he's...
Well, no one has those. They're original negatives. And
they're just the...
You know,
they're just incredible.
Those,
And, you know, I suppose in terms of that's just a toe in the water.
This is just look. These are just some of the things. You know,
it's like I'm doing a yo-yo trick and I do rock the cradle. I'm doing that, and then Jason comes out and goes two yo-yos switching around, one behind his back.
Andrew, I'll tell you something interesting. What's happening right now is my phone's just going crazy. I said, you know, I can see you on the screen there, and I'm not going to pick up the phone, but I can tell you right now, everyone is messaging going, can you believe what's behind them?
Yeah.
I said, I don't think we're important, Andrew. I think everyone's looking at the car behind us.
They are.
So
if you know what the cars are behind, make a comment in the comment field. We'll be interested to see.
I just want to see if you all know what we're talking about here.
Yeah, and they'll be coming up the next few episodes, as long as a couple of my collector cars as well. Yeah. But I think in terms of, for me, I've got some pretty interesting stuff to show you. I might just lead into a couple of little things I've got. One was, and you've got to remember, this was actually shot and hunted or whatever in the 1900s, 1910, so it wasn't extinct then. But now it's not a woolly mammoth. They weren't around then. But
you're talking about you being extinct, or you're talking about...
this thing I've got.
Oh, okay.
It's a snow leopard skin. And it's a female in her prime. It was shot in Nepal or somewhere in the mountains. And I got it at a white thrift store in Chatswood for like $5. I thought it was a leopard skin, had a furry tail, and I cut it off.
Was that in the 1980s you were saying?
Yeah, 1980s I picked it up for. And then today the curator at the museum in Sydney said they'd love to have it, but they weren't going to pay for it. And I'm not going to sell it. It's something that will be handed down for generations. I think there's 2,000 left in the wild at the moment, like these snow leopards. There's not many left. And they will be extinct in our lifetime, possibly, which is super sad. So it's got the full head, the face, the eyes, the teeth, and it's been... And when I actually looked at it, Jason, I actually saw this paper coming out of the head, and I thought, what is this paper? And I sort of pulled it out, thought, I'll get rid of that, and I threw it in the bin. I looked at it, it was like a newspaper. So I actually then got it and flattened out with an iron, and ironed it, and it was a person on the beach with a bouncing ball and the striped costumes of the 1920s. It had Manly Daily 1918, which is in itself is quite a collecting piece of newspaper. And that said, Bert Hinkler arrives in Sydney. With those who don't know, Bert Hinkler flew across the South Pacific, the Pacific Ocean, and he was an American aviator. or was the Australian over here? I have to check that out.
Are you going to bring it along in one of the episodes?
I'll bring it along one day and show you it.
I'd like to see it.
Snow leopard skin. It's like having the hairy mammoth wool skin. It's going to be pretty amazing. So probably my grandsons, maybe 80 or 90. It'll be quite an amazing thing to me. Donate to a museum. Them like having a Tasmanian tiger skin maybe or something. Great. But yeah, so that's one of many things I've got to discuss and show. Yeah. So. I think this could be an exciting channel. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff, a lot of collecting stuff, a lot of unique things, and how to collect and how to win, and how to win auctions and this.
And Andrew, you're saying about how to collect and stuff like that. And look, what we're going to do is when we go into the classic cars and talks about classic cars, we're going to talk about why I've chosen that classic car, how I found that classic car. I mean, some of the stories I'm going to tell you are going to knock your socks off. But look, at the end of the day, I mean, as an example is the DeLorean. Okay, so I think you all know there's a DeLorean behind us. I think a couple of people have sort of messaged on that and go, "Is that real?" It's real.
Yeah, it's a real one.
It's an early 1981 DeLorean.
If you think a Tesla Cybertruck has got nice stainless steel finish, rubbish. Look at the quality that Mr. DeLorean did on this job, and it's first class. The seams, the edges, the finish, and it's all solid stainless steel.
It was well before its time.
Incredible.
Before its time. But collecting. DeLorean.
Jesus.
Original handbook.
I can't believe you got the actual booklet.
Original warranty. It's even shows you all the dealers where to buy the DeLoreans from. Right, but this is right back.
I'd be interested to see how much the servicing was back then.
This is all the service records of the book.
$10 for a wheel alignment.
Yeah. So look, the DeLorean behind us. We're going to have a whole segment on DeLorean. We're going to go into the history and there's some interesting history there. I think you all know a little bit about the history. They only built them for 2 years.
That's right. Incredible.
They made under 10,000.
I saw the other day on TikTok someone was showing an electric DeLorean. Maybe it was a. Is it? Are they bringing it back?
You can actually, if you have a DeLorean, you can give them a DeLorean, and then they'll turn into electric.
Well, this is like a brand new one. This is like a brand new model.
Oh, so the new one. Okay, so the new one.
Is there such a thing?
There's a new one. There's a new DeLorean.
Wow.
They're trying to get into production. Incredible design, and they've taken some of the touches from the.
Yeah, it looks good.
DeLorean.
It does. Yeah. It doesn't look anything like the classic of this. It's just incredible.
Yeah, so that's exciting. So as we go through the classic cars I've got, we'll show you a bit of the history. A lot of them got the handbooks, and
this is wonderful. Jason is one of the leading collectors of vintage cars that I know, and he restores these impeccably to nothing I've ever seen like in the world. They're just done to the nth degree. I mean, it really is. It's a credit what you've done.
No, thanks. I appreciate that. And as we get into collecting and talk about it, you'll find that a lot of classic cars, a lot of collectible things, actually trade within people. Yeah. So we say to you, get onto the Facebook groups.
Absolutely.
Just get involved, even if you're not thinking about it now, but you maybe down the future. You just cannot believe what just pops up.
Yeah, so, I agree. I mean, like once you start the passion for collecting, it's like hunting. As I can imagine, I don't hunt, but it's just finding that gold nugget or finding that diamond in the mountain. It's a very exciting, passionate thing to do, collecting. And I think when you find that the one thing you want and you go after it and you get it, it's so exciting. I've got a vintage skateboard collection on my wall. It's probably close to worth 20 grand now. And I probably paid about 9,000 for them all, including a couple of Surfa Sams and 2 mint Banes. Thank you very much to Mr. Stevens, Phil Stevens.
You wait till we talk about the Surfa Sam. You will for our US followers. You'll be amazed.
After.
You'll be amazed that this skateboard was made in
Steve
Australia.
From early Dogtown, one of the great Steve Caballero. He's got a great collection of skateboards, absolutely the best in the world, and he was so tickled pink to get a Surfa Sam. He paid a lot of money for it. He got one Surfa Sam. I think there's only 2 Surfa Sams in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Wall. I've got a couple. We'll go through that in details. Well, that might segue nicely on to just showing you a couple of boards, because you obviously tuned in about vintage skateboards and we talked nothing about cars and Seinfeld script, which is so exciting. But Jason's got some amazing boards to show you. But let's kick it off today with just 2 boards from me.
Just two boards today.
So the first thing.
I'll move these.
Yeah. So the first thing is this here. It doesn't look like a skateboard, does it? It looks like it's a toy. This is what they used to ride back in the late 50s, and this is a roller derby. Roller derby basically came into production when there was roller derby company making roller wheels for these games like rollerball and roller derby games, where they roll around a ring and bounce everybody off. It was a very, very big sport, and a lot of women did it. They had the big roller shoes, skate wheels, 4 wheels, and the young kids would cut those when the sisters would use them. They'd cut them off and put them onto a bit of timber, but also with a solid bit of a box, like a soap box, and make a scooter out of it.
They were like crates, weren't they?
Yeah, crates. And that's the forerunner for pretty much skateboarding. But we'll go into that more detail next episode. We do the history of skateboarding. But this is a very early company. Obviously, roller derby saw the advent of skateboarding coming, and they were the first company to sort of production, along with Chicago, a production board. And this is a 1958 board, or 1960, with the clay wheels, open bearings. But that's what they were. They were just like, they were just that size, 14 inches or 17 inches. They were very small. And obviously, remember, kids rode these. They weren't actually ridden by adults until later. And children would find these in sports stores and whatever, early trucks. But before we had the clay wheels, which are these ones here, the forerunners, the guys from the 1950s, that's 51 to 56,
Look at these wheels.
were riding steel wheels. So look at that, Jason. These are steel wheels, and this board's obviously been very much loved. It's been sprayed with a purple edge to it. But again, this was another company, Nash. Nash came out of Texas. They did a lot of boards, and 15 Toes was their main board they were productioning. And 15 Toes, Nash, sidewalk surfing. It's a great example of what the early skateboards were. So metal wheels, this is the single metal wheel, and they came out with dual metal wheels, so they had a little channel to take the water out. Now, honestly, if you want to drive one of these, you'd just kill yourself. I don't know how you could possibly ride that, but that's the steel wheels. I'll get a close-up of this and show you. These are steel wheels, have been sprayed a bit purple, and these trucks are very, very, very rudimentary early truck system. But that was what they rode from 55 to sort of 58, 59. And then from the steel wheels, they went on to, as we've already shown you, the clay wheels. And clay wheels really were a really, really good advantage and directional change and accelerator for the sport, because they were gripping a lot better than steel wheels, obviously. So we got the steel wheels and we've got the clay wheels. And what we have here, you've got that one. These are the first company to bring in urethane. Now, Frank Nasworthy, who was a Californian surfer skater, I'll go into more detail about him, but he was the first man in the world to extrude urethane, and his father was going to do it for the roller derby girls, and they didn't want that grip. They wanted to slide more. They wanted the steel and clay wheels still. So he thought, well, what a great idea to put them on board. So this is one of the very early Chicago trucks with the urethane wheel, and this is a roller sports wheel Mark IV. They were very synonymous with the early boards of the Banes and of the Surfa stand, but the Surfa stand had a different truck. Yeah. Look at that. That's the first urethane.
Oh, printed on it is roller sports urethane.
If you look today at the durometer level, these would be 150 durometer. We're riding like 78 A's now. These feel like clay. They feel rock hard. You could slide those so easy. So that's the evolution and what's happened with the trucks. Of course, the decks got bigger and bigger, and we'll go into more detail on all this and the history of skateboarding coming up.
Yeah. But and look, I just wanted to mention, you're also lucky, because when we were collecting, I was in California going around to garage sales.
Yep.
And having to go through park, go for the garage, and I'd find you'd find these skateboards. You can't find them now. There's no way you'd find any of this. They're collectible now. They've become extremely rare. But what I want to say is why you're lucky is because you can find these online.
Yes, exactly.
They pop up.
So that's the thing. Jason's right. Because the baby boomers, which I am one of, Jason misses out, but I'm the youngest baby boomer. 1961 I was born, so I'm 63. So what happens is they're also dying off now. A lot of the guys who are 78 and 80, or their parents are dying off in the 90s, and they're having these roller door, those wars, those roller door, storage wars, and you'll find these all tucked away, and they're all coming out onto eBay now, and also on a website which I keep secret because I like looking at myself. And you can get these at a reasonable price. For instance, that one I paid only $140 Australian, and shipping was quite expensive from the States. Most of these boards are in the States, so you're looking at $110 shipping. So it's a $250 purchase, but that's now probably worth about $500 or $600.
It's already gone up. So
My collection. Exactly. And they're all available. You can go and see them online and get them and ship them, and then they look lovely hanging on your wall. It just looks so good. Get some plaques made up. I'll give you a link to where I got my plaques made up. The wall plaques from Sweden, and they get engraved with the date. But this will kick you off and get you thinking about collecting vintage skateboards, because it's my Picasso at home. It's like on the wall, like just people go and say, normally no one would want that on the wall, but I'm on my own, so I can put it on there.
But the vintage skateboards are so exciting. Look, once in the next segments when we dive into the history of the skateboards, you're just going to be amazed at how this all came about. It all came about by accident.
It is. You're holding this piece of history in your hand where it's probably been owned by 5 guys, 5 children, initially 10, 12-year-old, into an 18-year-old before they got too big. This has probably seen thousands of mile riding. It's just history. And it's just... Now, you got to remember, Jason, this sport is so new.
It's a new sport.
Like, you look at skiing, been around for hundreds of years, horse riding at the Wild West. You look at, bike riding since unless they invented the wheel. But skateboarding has only been invented since 1952 or 53, when the first kids snapped off their soapboxes and ended up trying to balance on one of these bits of timber. Of course, the surfers at Malibu, like the likes of Mickey Dora and a lot of the great surfers, saw these kids and went, wow, we can do this on the land and train. So they got longer boards, and it went into an adult sort of interest, and then became a mainstream sport, as we know. Quite incredible the way it's evolved, but it is such an early edition sporting apparatus piece of equipment that it's just great to try and you're holding the start of the evolution of something, which is crazy, isn't it?
And I have a really good idea of what to collect and what works well, and I'm really passionate and really getting really into the skateboards.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Jason goes to the States a lot, and he said to me the other day, I got these 2 boards, what do you think? I said, grab them. You want to show your Makaha?
Oh, the Makaha.
You can look at this.
This Makaha, I mean, it's incredible. It's very unique.
Yeah.
Doesn't look much to look at, but this board is very rare.
I haven't seen this.
And this once again was brought off market. This wasn't for sale. This was under a counter. When he recognised who I was, they said, "I know you. Are you interested in this?"
Incredible.
So
I've never seen this. It's got original Makaha wheels.
That's why I got it. It was the original wheels, the chucks.
And the way they've actually used plastic and extruded that into the truck system, so the truck is all, you can see there on the pickup of the camera, it's all integrated. It's very clever design, because when it went mainstream, it started going to factories and bulk design. This board has got the beautiful Makaha print on the trucks. This is vintage. This is not that early, but it's about 1964, I'd say.
It's mid to early 60s.
Yeah, mid 64, 65. This is one of the first boards they came out with a plastic composite. So, after they saw the timber decks being ruined, this is beautiful. This is look at that. Great. And the trucks are pretty good.
When the guy pulled this out from under the counter, I knew exactly what it was, and he knew I knew what it was.
Yeah.
And I knew that he knew that he knew that I knew. And
so we sort of got 3 boards there that sort of, in a way, encapsulates, and the truck on top, that encapsulates the evolution of the board, the skateboard from steel wheels, clay wheels, urethane wheels, and then composite decks.
You're going to throw, and then look, we're going to touch on it. You're going to throw in something like this.
Wow!
Look at the wheels, look at the chucks. Look at the difference.
So now what happened? We'll go into more detail. What happened in the 1970s?
I know we shouldn't have really pulled it out, but
we're going to do it. We're going to do it.
Can't help it.
This is fiberglass, and fiberglass was used by a lot of companies to get rid of excess stock of fiberglass fins. The most famous fiberglass skateboard in the world is the Bane skateboard, coming out of California from the 2 Bane brothers. Yeah. And obviously this is a forerunner afterwards of that concept. It's got stingers on the side. I love it. It's got a beautiful big kicktail. But fiberglass was great aesthetically, but it was crap for wear and tear.
It got smashed. And how fast would you go?
Well, these are flex. These are getting down to about 120 durometer. These are getting down to about 120 durometer, so you're getting a bit softer now and a lot of flex in those. But yeah, I've got two Bane skateboards, and they are the bee's knees. They're the collector's item. They're the holy grails. And honestly, this is a beautiful piece of Californian fiberglass flexboard with the wide trucks. It's beautiful. Jeez, where'd you get that from?
Oh, well, this was actually got this from a collector in
California.
Right in Santa Monica.
Wow. Look, that's just a tip of the iceberg,
just a
what's
tip.
coming, because I've got boards that are worth probably close to $3,000 each.
Yeah.
So they're coming to show you how to collect them, how to find them, and where to find them, and a few tricks of the trade, where to go to look for them, and how to auction for them, as we said.
Yeah.
I think, I think for a first podcast, we might wrap this up soon, because I think I don't want you guys to be falling asleep at the wheel. We obviously have got a lot to discuss, a lot to talk about. Jason, I mean, this is exciting. I can't wait to see these.
Yeah. Oh, look, I'm just glad to share all this with you, and that this is just coming up to 35 years of collecting.
Yeah.
So it's time. It's time to show you some.
It's
of the
time
stuff.
to start collecting, because if you're in the age group of us, now a lot of our demographic watching this maybe in the 50s or 40s, start collecting, because it's a wonderful thing to pass on to your grandchildren, the heirloom, the whole excitement of just finding, getting, obtaining, buying, and then keeping is a wonderful aspect to vintage collecting on any level, whether it be cars, skateboards. Yeah, I'll tell you what, Jason, we're lucky to have you on the channel.
It's fine. That's great.
You're co-founder. We founded this together. We just thought, well, let's just start a podcast on collecting some great stuff.
And I've had, look, once again, my phone again. There's over 20 people just asking if we could just start up the car behind us. And
Oh,
I don't
God,
know.
yeah.
What do you think? What do you think?
Do you want to
think
start
we
it? I think we'll end off with the soundtrack of that car,
Wait.
and it might go for 60 seconds. So, guys, if you want to...
We promise we'll be gone in 60 seconds. We're talking.
Guys,
so-
thank you so much for joining us today, Jason. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
We can't thank you enough. It's a new channel. Help it grow. Share. Send some thumbs ups and some likes. And follow, because a lot of stuff's coming up. Drop comments in the description field.
We're happy to do valuations. We're happy to bounce stuff off us. This is a fun thing.
So, guys, if you like today, do a thumbs up, give us a like, and try and subscribe to the channel, and share this video so we get. That's how the algorithm works really well. It's a new channel, and pop a comment in the comment field if you want any questions asked or anything at all. We're more than happy to answer anything.
We can value. We can value the skateboards.
We can value the skateboards. We can value
bounce anything off us.
Absolutely, and honestly, just sit back and hit that notification bell for the next video, and we'll see you in the next video. Until then, let's end off with the best soundtrack you can get.
Yeah,
Jason, let's
just
do
put
it.
everything to rest. Everyone's just
Are you
the
ready?
phone's just going crazy. So.
Till next time, guys. Have a great video.
Cheers. Thanks.
I'm not even going to look. Are you serious? Oh, that is crazy. Beautiful. Love it.